Hello guys. Funny thing is, I have actually been talking for an hour and a half before this video. I tried to film like an entire video talking through what I watched in January and February. It's now March, but I wanted to talk through that. But then I just realised I was talking too long and I got to a point where I was like so hyper that it actually just didn't become about talking about film, and I was just like just talking about whatever, and that's obviously okay, but I just like had a moment of realization and I was like, I took myself back and I was like, this is just not the video people want to see. Not that I want people to see my videos and I'm doing this for other people, I'm also doing this for myself, as a way to look back at like the content that I was indulging at a certain point in my life. But yeah, so I did, it's 9:30 now. So I started this at 8, but now I'm gonna start talking. My aim is to make sure this does not get over half an hour. But yeah, if you haven't gathered, I'm gonna talk through, I think, the films I watched in February. As I said, it's March. Ignore that says February. I haven't had the motivation to flip my calendar yet. But yeah, I think just talking through what I watched in January and February is just going to be too long. Also, I watched a silly amount of stuff in January, and I feel like it got to the point where I wasn't actually indulging in what I was intaking what I was actually watching. Because I was just watching a lot of just shit on Netflix, because I logged into one of my friends' accounts and I've never been faced with so much content in my life. I was just like trying to take it all in at once, and then I realised like, no. And it was just a bunch of true crime documentaries that were really bad and exploitative anyway. So yeah, I think February was a bit more curated. I began a lot of work for school, so I didn't have that much time to watch films. So yeah, I'm gonna talk through what I watched in February. I haven't filmed a video since August actually. So it's been a while. I've just been so busy with school. But obviously I love school. So I think that maybe I'll start posting more often. But if not, then I'll just do monthly updates about what I watch. Because film is obviously my passion and I want to talk about it. So yeah. So the first thing I watched in February was a film called Sweetheart, which is about this girl, and she goes on a caravan holiday, which she doesn't want to go to, and then she falls in love, I guess. And it's a solid film. I enjoyed it. It's solid. It did what it needed to do. I had fun watching it. I love the setting. I do love myself a good caravan holiday. I'm going on one soon. I'm really excited. So yeah, I appreciated the setting, but I think the characters could have been developed a bit more. It felt very stereotypical teenager. Like at the beginning, I really didn't like the character. She was very like, I don't want to go on a holiday because I'm a teenager and I hate everything. So the character was very plain, so I didn't really connect with it. But I had fun. I think I had fun. Yeah. I think I watched a lot of short films, whether that be for class or just in my free time. I think I'm gonna wait and talk about them at the end in a separate section and just get through all the feature films now. So the next film I watched was a film called Frida. I'm not trying to be niche, but it has 94 views on letterboxd. I thought I was scrolling on Prime Video, and I thought I was gonna find like an absolute gem, but it really wasn't. It was really bad. It's about, the bio on Letterboxd says a struggling artist turns to sex work to support herself. I thought it could be very interesting, but it was quite literally just like, it was not a short film, but it was an hour-long film, so it's not the typical film length. But it was just, yeah, it was very, very bad. It was poorly done. Most of the film was out of focus, even though it looked like it was filmed on an iPhone, so I don't really know how we've managed that. The dialogue was really just terrible and like very bland. Like, it tried to do something but wasn't doing anything. And yeah, it was just, most of the time it was just dull dialogue, and then it would go into like a really long sex scene that was just became very exploitative, and like, it felt like I wasn't meant to be watching it. It felt like an actual, like, am I allowed to say porn film on YouTube? But it felt like a porn film, like it had no other purpose other than like just to watch sex. Like, it didn't feel like a film, so I became very uncomfortable and like I wasn't meant to be watching it. So don't watch it, guys. It was really, really bad. And yeah, just very, very bad. Yeah. I then rewatched Frankenstein because the people, like all of the production crew, came to my school to do a talk, and specifically the person that I really liked most was the composer. He's composed for a lot of other films. He's a great composer. I did a little like Spotify stalk after and just added like all of his orchestra composer work to a bunch of playlists, so it was really cool. But like, it was really interesting because I felt like I didn't appreciate their craft on my first watch, because Frankenstein I thought was a very average film. Obviously the production and everything was just mind-blowing and beautiful to look at, but overall I didn't really feel myself there with like the story, I guess. But having these people talk about their craft and how long it took with every detail, I was like, okay, I'm gonna rewatch it, and like every detail, you know? And I did. I enjoyed it on my second watch a bit more. And yeah, I really took appreciation for just everything, specifically the score. The score is just, I actually like went away and listens to the score separately. It's just amazing. He's just amazing. I think I actually appreciate the score more than the movie. But yeah, so I really enjoyed that rewatch, and I'm happy that I'm now just technically one person away from Oscar Isaac. That is really cool. Yeah. I then watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer, one of Yorgos Lanthimos's earlier films. I don't know if you can count it as an early film. I feel like that was his like peak, or like when he was like, people were realizing, oh wait, he's really good. But I count that as early because he's still coming out with films now and they're still bangers. But yeah, it was a good film. It was a solid film. It was a solid film. Obviously it had that weird freaky vibe that all of his films do. This one, like, ugh, it really like, ew, it really like, it got to me, because like his other films you can kind of like see where the person is weird. Like with Begonia, you could tell they were weird because like they were just weird and like conspiracy theorists and everything like that. But these people, they were very like, I just really didn't enjoy watching them or listening to them. The whole family and everyone, just very weird. But I feel like it's a very good piece of cinema and like storytelling, because like it just, even if they weren't doing anything weird, it just gave you that vibe of like, yeah, this isn't going to be like a normal film, you know? So that was very interesting. I then watched Sound of Metal because Riz Ahmed, I'm just hyping up my school at this point, but Riz Ahmed came to my school and I wanted to know about him and his craft before he came. It was a very beautiful film. Just everything about it really, like the cinematography, the script, the acting, the story, just everything. It was a really like feeling film, like a film that really relies on like connection and characters and everything, and I really do love them films, so I really liked it. The ending scene was beautiful, and yeah, it was really lovely. I then watched another Riz Ahmed film, Four Lions. This film, it's a very odd film. You don't know. Okay, Riz Ahmed said it himself, guys, so don't come for me. But he said it's a film where you don't know whether to like be offended or laugh. And I feel like that's just a perfect way to put it. Like, saying I like this film makes me sound very weird. But yeah, I found it hilarious at some points. And if Riz Ahmed likes it and approves it, then I think I'm okay saying that. So I really enjoyed it. I found it really funny. It's honestly like one of the best comedies I've ever heard. Like the jokes, I need to figure out like who wrote it, because I need to see other stuff they've written, because it was just like perfect. I think it was amazing. Yeah. Then I rewatched Bird. Bird is my favorite film of all time, if you didn't know. But basically I only rewatched it because I had a dream where this like really weird man was following me, or like on my street, and would not leave me alone. And then I watched Bird because I was like, maybe the freaky man in my dream wasn't freaky and he was just my bird, you know? So I don't think that helped, but I enjoyed my rewatch. It truly does just like get better on every rewatch. Because yeah, it's just a really beautiful film. I love it. I really love it. If like aliens came to Earth and said like, what film do you recommend to us? I'd recommend Bird. Yeah, and I just love Andrea Arnold. It's actually getting to a point now. At school, we're starting our final major project, where we have to like make a film, like a short film, but we're working on it for a few months. So we're in like the pre-production phase now, where we're like talking about like our inspirations and like everything, our planning. The amount of times I've written Andrea Arnold and social realism in my planning, I should actually count. It's getting to a point now where I actually hate the word, even though I love the person, because she's just amazing. I love everything she's ever done. Yeah. I then watched the film Sugar and Spice because I got tired of seeing, it's this one picture here. I always see it on Tumblr, and I was like, I'm gonna actually watch this film. And it didn't let me down. Basically, it was just a silly teenage girl film where this girl is having a baby, and like her parents try and make her like get an abortion, and she's like, no, I want to keep my baby. And then like her parents like don't help her with the baby, so she's like, okay, well, I'm broke and I can't do anything, so we're gonna have to actually rob a bank so I can afford my baby. And it's just, I love films where they don't take themselves seriously. I think satirical is the word. So it was just very silly and everything, and yeah. It was just, I giggle still. I just reminiscing. It was just really funny. I love 2000s comedy films, girl films. They're just so great. I then watched a film called A Brixton Tale, which I don't know how I came across this because it doesn't have that many views. It has 700 views on letterboxd. And I don't. Okay, I think I found it on Prime Video. It's a very interesting film. I think I wish it got seen by more people, because it just deals with a lot of heavy topics. Basically, this girl, like a very privileged girl, becomes like obsessed with like the working class aesthetic and kind of working class people. Yeah, just like trying to be someone she's not, and she just like gets obsessed with this whole idea. of this. It's to do with her film project. Like, she wants to like capture the vibe, which is very weird, and it's quite concerning how like you still see this like in school and everything. It's just very weird, and it's very psychological and really freaks your brain out, like watching the film, and it really grosses you out, and it's very upsetting because because obviously comes from a very privileged background. She does all these evil things, and like her impact has a really terrible effect on the people around her, but she comes out of it okay because obviously privilege, and then the people around her don't, and it's just so upsetting to see like their downfall, even though they couldn't have helped it, you know. It's just very upsetting. I think I wish that film was more popular than it is. But yeah, and the acting in it was amazing. So yeah. I then watched a film called Gasoline Rainbow, which I found on Mubi. I'm not niche, I swear. I just bought the £1 membership. It was like £1 for 3 months. I'm gonna cancel it when it ends because I think it's very silly to pay like £10 for like to have access to like curated 30 films. It's so silly. But yeah, I watched it because it was like coming of age, like while going across the Midwestern desert in America. That is a piece of me. It sounded like a piece of me, but the script really let it down. At some points it felt very documentary and it intrigued me. And then to find out it wasn't a documentary and like someone had actually thought about this script and wrote it, it was just very weird. Like, they tried to be very deep and philosophical by saying like my life, I'm about to like go into my life and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, okay, I feel like everyone's had that thought, and they tried to make it sound really deep and like it was a groundbreaking thought. I've turned really white there. But yeah, like, okay. I think I see the concept. It would have been good. I just wish it was written better. Yeah. And then I watched a film, also a movie. It's so great. I'm not talking about movie. I'm talking about this film now. Sorry, I flipped from one topic to another really quickly. But it's called What You Gonna Do When the World's on Fire. It's amazing. This also, it's not a documentary, but it covers real events with real people that they were affected by. Like, it's kind of like a reenactment, I think. Don't hold this against me if I'm wrong. Because like on the cast list, it says like all these people and it says self, like that, but it wasn't, I don't think it was framed in a way of a documentary. I think, I don't know. It might be, I don't know. It was very, it was so great. Like, hearing these people talk passionately, like real people, again, like a film with just feeling, like it made you feel. And yeah, it was just like, it was so great. I think everyone should watch it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So yeah. I then also on Mubi, I'm on like a Mubi streak. I'm really taking advantage of this trial that I have. I then watched Die My Love, which was, it was great. A lot of people like don't like it and they say like this is so pretentious, but I really enjoyed it. I feel like I understood everything it was trying to say, and just like staying with this character, it was just like an honor. I really enjoyed the character. I understood her. I understood what they were trying to say. Also, just the colours. The colours and the cinematography was amazing. I think the cinematographer, bear with me. No, okay. I thought he was a really good cinematographer, but he just... No, that's why I remember the cinematographer. He did amazing cinematography in this, but then he did Avengers and The Greatest Showman, which are fine films, I guess. But Die My Love is very specific in the way it's filmed. Like, it's very stylistic. And for him, that he also did 50 Shades of Grey. Ew. So yeah, for very bland movies, he knows good cinematography. It's just a shame it never gets put to use. But yeah, it was really good. I wish it was nominated for best cinematography, but I don't think the Academy is ready for just that type of film. But I loved it, so yeah. I then watched This Is England, which is just like a classic, and I'm surprised I hadn't seen it earlier. And yeah, it's a classic for a reason. It was just great. Again, just like the characters and everything. It's a very serious film, and you're on their journey, and I was just, I feel like I can't talk about this because everyone kind of knows about this film or like has their thoughts or has watched this film, so there's nothing I can really add to the conversation other than watch it. It's just such an impactful film, and I think there's a lot to learn from the film. So yeah. I then rewatched Call Me By Your Name. I rewatched it on Valentine's Day. No specific reason. I think just everyone was like watching rom-coms on Valentine's Day or like doing Valentine's Day stuff with actual real life people, and I was like, what's my favourite romance-y film? And then I thought Call Me By Your Name. Just for clarification, I don't class Call Me By Your Name as a good romance. I don't really think it is a romance. It's more so, I'm not going to dive into this psychology of Call Me By Your Name. I think it's a great film. It's in my top 4 films. So yeah, I gave that a rewatch and I really enjoyed it. I then watched a film called Holy Spider. I need to stop umming. It's really annoying. I did it again. Sorry, it really got. Oh, I'm not gonna say It's a film. I'm really trying not to use like filler words. It's a film where a female journalist is investigating the killings of women, and then she gets like intertwined within that. It's very interesting. It tried to do something speaking about women or like for women, vouching for women, but then it was very evident it was male directed and didn't really understand it, because the scenes where obviously it's about like violence against women, but the scenes where there would actually be violence against women, it was very graphic, and I feel like we didn't actually have to show that. We could have just said like not showed it, you know what I mean, like where you like hint towards it, not hint, but like you tell it in a way where you don't show it. Show not tell. Wait, no. Tell not show. Something like that. I don't know. But it was very odd. Like it tried to do something, but then it was like, okay. But overall, it was a solid film. I then watched The Starling Girl. It was great. I watched it because everyone is like, this is so Ethel Cain, and I like Ethel Cain, and I call it Empty America. I literally have like a whole tag on Letterboxd and like lists of films I class as Empty America. Big fan of it. It was a very great film. I actually keep thinking about it, which is really weird because it was like a basic film, I guess, but it was still great. I'm just probably after this just gonna go watch some edits. I really like it. I then watched the film Waves. I need to stop saying I'm really sorry. I was gonna say again. It's a very like good film, and I understand why it's a classic. It was just everything. I really enjoyed the way it was shot. Like the first felt like a full-on music video, and I think that serves the vibe it was going for. And then for it to like slow down in the second half, it really just, I understood what it was trying to do. It's just so 2019. it's like the soundtrack also, I thought watching it was gonna be made more recently, because I was listening and like, I know that song, I know that song, I know that song, and it's all like internet famous songs, but only really like kind of recently famous songs. But then it kind of shows like how much this film had an impact on social media and like online stuff, because I'm guessing this film popularized a lot of the music, which is great that a film can have that much impact. And yeah, the cinematography was just amazing. Also the colours just really like were vibrant and strong, but it fit, so I liked it. I then watched a film called Nil. Well, I didn't really watch it. I gave up halfway. Not even halfway, first 10 minutes. But it's called Nil by Mouth. It is a film, it says it's a film, following like a family in a working class district of London. I thought that was going to be right up my street, but the dialogue to begin with, I was like, this seems like a conversation I could walk past on the street, and like it felt very realistic. But then going more into it, it didn't. And also the lighting, I couldn't see what was happening on the screen. It might have just been because I had a bad recording of it. It was a very low quality recording, but I felt I couldn't fully indulge in the film in this way, you know? So I think maybe I'd be willing to retry it if I ever got like a higher quality recording of it. But so I haven't rated it because I think that's unfair to rate it just because I couldn't see what was happening on the screen. So yeah, I think I'm unbiased about that film. I will give it another chance one day, I think. I love this. Okay, I then watched a film called Cow. It's by Andrea Arnold. I love her. She's my favourite director. I think I talked about that already. But literally an hour and a half of a cow. We follow a cow and its life on a farm. It's so mundane, but the skill of the director to be able to make you care for this animal is amazing. Obviously, I care for animals, but by the end I felt like I had watched a whole person grow up. And I cried in the ending. Really embarrassing. No, it's not embarrassing to cry over animals. People have feelings. Yeah, it was very, very good. I'm not even trying to be like niche or pretentious or whatever by saying 5 stars. It genuinely was. I felt everything. Like it was so amazing. I then watched a film called We Need to Talk About Kevin. I watched this actually. Okay, this is like I'm writing myself out. I watched this because I saw edits on TikTok of Ezra Miller's character in a crop top and low-waisted jeans, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. Obviously Ezra Miller is an evil person, but I differentiate him in the character. But yeah, so I don't know why I needed to give you context. I thought I should. But yeah, it was a very good film. Very disturbing, and I admire the director. This director also did Die My Love, so yeah. I need to watch her other film, Ratcatcher, I think. I think out of all of her films, I like that one the most. It's on my immediate watch list, so you'll probably see it in next month's video. I then watched a film. If you're online like me, you know who this diva is. The film is called Terry Joe Missionary in Miami. Okay. If you don't know, Terry Joe is basically like an online character of this person, and they just do TikTok lives sometimes. It's like a character this person puts on. I think I already said that. I might just be repeating myself. It's so great. It's not even like fine, if we're being honest, the first half was very but the second half, once you got into the comedy and understood like the film's vibe, then it got like okay, this is actually good. So I gave it 5 stars with a love heart. Did it deserve that? Probably not. But I had a fun time, and that's all that matters. So yeah. This is really funny. Okay, I then watched Beauty and the Beast, the 1946 version by Jean Cocteau, I think how you say his name. It was solid. I admired. Yeah, I actually did really. I liked it. It was good. I feel like old films I can never fully like because cinema has changed so much. So because I'm so used to modern cinema, going back into like almost 100 years ago, they obviously did it in a different way. So I can't love it wholeheartedly because I'm not familiar with it. But I liked this film in the way of old films. Like, it out of all of the older films, I think this is one I really, really like and one of my favourites, I guess. But it's just on a different level to modern films. But yeah, I did find it very funny. The Beast, I don't know why I was expecting him to have like a deep voice. I guess because like that's how beasts are and like every other adaptation. But in this one, he really is human because he comes out wearing these weird like trousers where they're like puffed, and he just like the first opening scene where we see this beast who's meant to be scary, I guess, he just comes out of a bush in full on like royal clothing and in a squeaky French accent says hello, or like hello. I don't know how they say it. Hello. Something like that. But it really caught me off guard. But I kind of admire that they didn't want to make the beast scary. Like, they framed him in a way where it was just as if it was a normal person. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I did. I find it really funny that I give Terry Joe Missionary in Miami 5 stars, and then this film, I was like, it was okay. Found that funny. I then watched a film called Athena. It was amazing. It is like, how do I explain it? I'm really terrible at explaining films, I'm so sorry. The summary that it says is hours after the tragic death of their youngest brother in unexplained circumstances, 3 siblings have their lives thrown into chaos. So it's basically just a film where we follow characters for their journey and everything. And that's basically it. I don't really... I'm really terrible. But it was just an amazing film. A film with feeling, a film where you connect with the characters, a film where you care for the characters. And I was a big fan. This film, however... Sorry, I've picked up my skin if you see... Sorry. It's like... I don't know why I'm talking. I didn't need to bring that up. I'm sorry. Just so you don't think I've been scratched by a ghost. Sorry, I thought of a video there. Have you guys ever seen the video where I think they're on like a live and they're doing something to do with ghost hunting, and the person on the other end of the live is like, is that a ghost behind you? And the person on the other end of the live, it's her daughter behind her, but she's like really pale or something due to the lighting. And then the person just says, no, that's my daughter. I need to stop talking, sorry. I had to get that off my chest. Okay. Anyway, okay. This film I didn't like. I felt it was very dull. It's Badlands by Terrence Malick. This film has a 4-point average rating on Spotify? On letterboxd. But I really just didn't like it. I felt it was very dull. I didn't really care for the characters. I liked the cinematography. That was really, really good. But I think I'm just really biased because, as I said, I like America and like the empty Midwestern area of America. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what film. Oh, okay, right. I then watched a film called My First Film. It was very interesting. I'm very conflicted on this. It actually made me think a lot, this film. Hold on, I'm actually gonna have to pause my music that's in my background so I can fully focus on thinking about this film. It was very... Okay. I think this happens actually really quite a lot, which is very... I don't know if it's very telling or anything, but oftentimes when I really don't like the main character in a film, like I literally like am angered by them, it's often when the director is making a true story. Like this film is a true story where the director is telling the story of her life through the main character, and in this I really didn't like the main character, and this has happened before. I watched a film called The Souvenir, really didn't like it, found the main character to be really insufferable, and it's also a director telling a biopic of her own life. So I don't know if that's very telling, where characters that I don't like and I think are kind of like bad people, I guess it's self-centered enough to make a film about themselves. I don't know if I sound really evil saying that, but it's very odd that it's happened twice. But yeah, so overall, the characters and the main character I really didn't like. That's why I don't really wholeheartedly love this film. Sorry, stumbled over my words. But I was never really bored. I found it quite interesting. And the way they executed it, I liked how it was kind of like breaking the fourth wall by the end. It's very interesting. I don't really understand the message they were trying to do, but I admire it, and I think it made me think a lot, that film. So it was a good watch, I think. I'm putting my music back on now because it's like really silent and like really awkward. I don't know why Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen has come on. That's not the vibe I want. Okay. I then watched a film called I Swear. I watched this before the BAFTAs actually, because I was like, he's nominated for something, I better get watching this. And I'm glad I did, and I'm glad he won. His performance was amazing. Why is my music not playing? That's because it's actually turned down. That's humbling. That's too loud. Hold on, I feel like a DJ flipping through all these buttons. Sorry. Okay, back to this film. It's a very character feeling film. I care a lot for the character. Yeah, it was a great film. I think they did a great job of making you feel for the character, but not in like a sympathetic way. I think they're not trying to make it like a sympathy thing. It's just you're on this character's journey with them and you care for them in that way, I think. I then rewatched Fish Tank, which obviously big fan of Andrea Arnold. But I hadn't rewatched Fish Tank ever, and also not in a while. I think I first watched it a year, maybe 2 years ago. So it was really nice revisiting it after like knowing more about the way Andrea Arnold makes her films. So yeah, on my first watch of Fish Tank, I think I gave it 4 stars or 3.5. But on this one, I give it 5 because like kind of understood more what she was doing with it, and like I appreciated the story more. So I really liked it. Yeah. And I like the soundtrack and just everything she does with the film. It's so great. Yeah. I think okay. I've gotten to a point now where like if I'll put an Andrea Arnold film on in the background because I feel like it's so familiar. It kind of just, I don't know. I appreciate the characters and the narrative and everything so much that like putting it on feels homely, you know? Very weird. But yeah, I then, part of my school project, pre-production, development, planning, everything like that, I watched Ill Manners. which also has Riz Ahmed in it. I don't know if, yeah, Riz Ahmed has been watched a lot in this month. It was a very good film. It is about a working class community, or like a poorer community, that just deals with everything. It's about how all these characters intertwine. I love a good film like that, where it just shows how people's lives can intertwine and this person's actions affects this person. It was just so amazing. And yeah, just made you feel. I say that a lot, just feeling film, but that really is like my area where I like a film. Like, if a film makes me feel and just like, then I love it, you know? That's all of the feature films I watched this month. I think I'll briefly go over short films because I'm at the 40-minute mark. I'll briefly go over it. No more than like 30 seconds on each. Okay, that's my record. Okay, so in class I was shown Skate Like a Lass, which is a short documentary about females in skating, and I thought it was very good. It was filmed beautifully, very retro vibes, and I really liked that. I then watched another story. I'm rambling and I'm panicking. I watched then a short documentary called Venetian Men. I thought it was very teenage girlhood, and I really, really liked it. The way it was told, it was one of them documentaries where it like reenacts the scenes, like it tells the story, but they'll have reenactors like reenact it, but also in a way where it's kind of staged, like, you know, they're not realistically reenacting, and I really admired it. So just overall the way it was made and the story they were telling, I really enjoyed it. I then watched a film, I actually haven't figured out how to say this. I thought it was High Rat, but there's an I in it somewhere. So it's spelled H, I'll just show you it actually, I'm rambling. Can you see that? That film. It was really amazing. Can I tell you what it's about? No. But like I said, a film that makes me feel is a film I like. So I felt a lot with that film, so I think you should watch it. I then watched a film called Tower XYZ. It was set in London. Can't actually remember it now, which is really evil. But I remember I liked it. I gave it 5 stars, which is quite bad that I gave it 5 stars, but can't remember it. I was shown in class also. I was shown too many films that day. They all kind of blurred into one. But yeah, it was very good. I then watched another film called Taking Stock, which is a poetic exploration of art and art not being appreciated, and yeah, it was interesting. It's quite a like sad watch. It was very dull, but I think that's obviously what the director wants you to feel, so I admire that. I've just realised I actually forgot to mention one of the films, because I thought it was a short film. Like, in my mind I processed it as a short film when it wasn't, but it was a documentary. It was called Vessel, and it's a documentary about a ship that sails around and near countries that don't offer abortions, and it will take the women that want an abortion out to the sea into international waters where it's legal to perform an abortion because they're in international waters, which is a very interesting thing, and it was a very interesting watch to hear about the creators of that process and organisation. And yes, very good watch. I then watched a short film called Shoebox. I found it on YouTube. I think I need to rewatch this film. I was quite like, not confused. Well, I guess confused. I need to, yeah, I need to rewatch it to gather my thoughts about it. But it was a solid film. I just think I need to think about it more before I comment about it. But watch it and form your own opinion on it. I then watched a film which is quite recent, and obviously it's a good film because it talks about issues now. It's called That's AI, found on YouTube. And it's just a very kind of silly and light-hearted exploration of the effect AI has on people right now in modern audiences. So yeah, it was a very good watch. It's so simple but amazing. I watched I won't mention this actually, but I watched a film that someone at my school produced and made, so I won't talk about it because obviously that's weird, it's their classwork at the end of the day, but for the record I watched that and I thought it was quite interesting, but obviously not privacy reasons, but yeah, they didn't consent to having their film talked about in a rant, so yes. I then watched a short film called Leslie, which I think I need to do more research about, because I think it's inspired by a song. So it would explain my critiques on it. I thought the short film was very simple and basic, like it had the simple concept of like an affair and the person who your boyfriend's cheating on is your best friend. That is such a simple trope and like everyone talks about that. So that was my critique. It was just very simple, like a simple concept and not very well executed. But obviously if it comes from a song then that will kind of make sense. But yeah. And then to finish, the last film I will talk about today is a documentary short called 17. It is so beautiful. I actually rewatched it back to back. I watched it and I was like, give me more, so I rewatched it straight away. It was a film exploring a community in London among young people that are roller skaters, which I knew about. I knew about that sort of, not community, but just like I knew roller skating had like become popular again. So it was interesting to see a like documentary about that. And it just talked about these young people and why they roller skate and their lives and everything around that. The cinematography was amazing. I actually took like screenshots and I used them. I like kept them for inspiration for my own projects, which shows how good it is. And I think it was actually shot on film, or it looked like film, so I admire that because it just brung the vibe and everything. So that's what I watched in February. I've been talking for very, very long, 48 minutes, so is a person watching this right now? No. But am I having a blast? Yes. So I'm happy that someone's watching. I don't know. I don't know. I had fun filming this. See you for my March watches, I guess. I don't know how to end videos, I'm so awkward. Oh, okay. That's always end a video. I just wanted to show you my statue that I was staring at for most of the video. I thought she was quite cute. I got her from a shop for 99p and she has my colour of hair-ish. She's a mermaid. So, I don't know. I'm gonna go now. Goodbye. I had fun. Watch some films. I'm gonna go watch some films or something. So, goodbye.